Hello viewers, Assalamu alaikum, and once again to our show Ab Kya Hoga, or What Will Happen. Usually our show is in Urdu, but again this show will be in English because it's a third sequel to our analysis on US presidential elections. So in this show, the post-election results we'll be discussing in a bit, and the imminent win of Joe Biden, or is there any threat left for his claim to the office on in January? After that, we will see what might be the policies of Joe Biden, which can affect the world and Pakistan in particular. Again, with me is Ambassador Jamil Ahmed Khan for his analysis. Ambassador Jamil, welcome to the show.
You're most welcome.
So, Ambassador Jamil, we have seen the election have been concluded as expected. They are most contested election. Not only that, it's also very controversial on the other hand. So, do you think Biden has taken the office, or there is a legal probability, as per different analysis by different?
True, it's a very well contested election, but at the same time, the incumbent in the White House is also very stubborn. Because the results this time, the popular vote, 120 years, the United States had never seen this kind of a turnout. Right, it's about 66.9%, which never happened before. Right, so from that angle, yes, people had shown their interest, and 62% of the vote almost was cost for the Joe Biden. So from all those angles, I think this time people mobilized themselves, despite the fact that there was pressure and there was a stress of the COVID, and there were other stresses also of the law and order situation. Having said so, now Trump is way ahead, as if you compare it with what happened with Clinton. The electoral votes are in favor of Joe Biden. The popular votes are in favor of Joe Biden. So from all these angles, there's only one problem, because the legal aspect, the spanner which Trump is trying to really have in the entire system is the legal battle. Basically, 8 out of 9 swing states, it has Secretary of State Republican and also governors Republican. So from that angle, if they don't certify the election, that would create a little chaos. And they don't certify the election on what ground? Some of the grounds which Trump has already spelled out, that there was a fraud, there was votes were counted which should not have been counted, the signature was not tallied.
Trump campaign is already swinging the results in all the swing states.
That's right. So from that angle, and then pressure of the people around. After all, Trump has pocketed more than 70 million votes. So he has his own following, and that following is right-wing political mindset and the white supremacist mindset. So from that angle, that this mega march which is taking place in US, and also B, the pressure on Trump, and C, the very team of Trump, some of them, they are very adamant. They want to go for this legal aspect. So this would really create a lot of chaos in the whole system, and US is going to really earn a very bad name in the entire world. And that's why some of this, the head of the states, and to my understanding, by so far information, even Russia has not really congratulated so far. They are waiting for the official result. An official result can only take place once on the 6th of December, and prior to that, all the legal.
So means 90% assurity, or more than that, 98%. The Biden has taken the office, but Biden has won the most number of votes by any U.S. president in history because of the high turnout as well. And Trump is the second most vote-getting president in any presidential election, though he's a runner-up. So if we try to look, there's little probability left that Trump can stay in office. Biden is the next US president with almost certainty. But looking beyond that, Biden is already creating his team to join the White House. They are contacting their different people for different positions. They have already selected their chief of staff, which happens to be an Indian origin guy. Not so. Do you think we will see a lot strong Indian influence in the White House and narrowing down the possibilities for Pakistan's
Well, it appears
action?
so. It does appear so because the vice president is going to be an Indian origin, and she believes, and she's been visiting India very frequently, and plus she is still following all those ritual. And there's no harm; they can follow. Anyone can follow their own ritual, but she very strongly does that, and accordingly, she has her following as well as she has her network and the
And the
outreach.
family, her immediate family of aunts and aunties are still in
I
India,
yes,
and she's
still the immediate family is still living there, and so therefore, yes, those linkage are there. And then coupled with that, if you review the deployment of State Department, that's a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what we call in our country. So you'll find on some very important and some very cardinal positions. You'll find at the Assistant Under Secretary General and so on in the bureaucratic setup, in the diplomatic setup. You'll find Indian origin guys. So that definitely has a very psychological influence, and as such, there could be some difficulty, and Pakistan has to really make sure that they make some countermeasure. So yes, and then Joe Biden himself, so far as Israel is concerned, the Middle East is concerned, India is concerned, China is concerned, you hardly see any change. And so far as Afghanistan is concerned, I could monitor the statement of the acting defense secretary, which is the acting minister, from our perspective. So he has already said that they want to pull out all the troops from all over the world. Fine enough, that is being done because of the economic reasons. But my point is that whether they're going to pull out the troops or whatever they are going to do,
So do you think the disengagement policy from international conflicts, which US has started in different part of the region, will continue, or US will decide to keep the troops or engage further in Afghan war, or Yemen conflict, or Syria? They will US will exert more forces in those regions.
look at it from this perspective, from the other perspective of the whole thing, that the establishment there in the United States, they were always in favor that Afghanistan, which they should not withdraw it so hurriedly. And this was a political statement because still the appointee, the defense secretary, is the appointee of the Trump. So he gave that statement. But Biden, once he comes in, my own analysis is that the establishment would recommend, and Biden himself would be more inclined, because, as you said, what we just discussed a little while ago about the Indian influence. So Biden would like to continue there for some more time. The troops may be stretched, and as a result, Afghan Taliban may not, well, they will be very angry on it, because the Doha agreement, has the complete chart and complete calendar for the withdrawal. So that's one, and that would bring in turn a huge burden on Pakistan. And Pakistan is a facilitator, done a very good job. But then again, they would start having a blame unnecessarily, as it has been happening.
And the terrorist activities across the border from Afghanistan through Indian embassy can increase, and Pakistan may not have any.
It's already increasing, Khurram, because you might have monitored the press conference of the foreign minister and the ISPR, the DG, and they have evidence, the kind of evidence we have in Pakistan.
So it seems that with the Biden's presence in the White House, Pakistan administration has already smelled the challenges coming up their way with the increased terrorism thrown by India through Afghan border into Pakistan. And that press conference of Shah Mahmood Qureshi and DGISPR was a preemptive measure to engage the world.
That's basically you can say that it was a preemptive measure too, but at the same time, the world community, they wanted to resonate it to the world community. This is what is going to happen, and they are sharing this the dossier with the European Union and P5 countries, all the permanent member of the United Nations, and plus the United Nations itself. But the way they are sharing it, there are other mechanisms also. So accordingly, if they follow those mechanisms of making it as a part of agenda in General Assembly, and also with their friends like China and
So,
Russia.
but on Kashmir, Biden's and Kamala Harris' stated policies are quite goes against Indians' narrative. Is it the part of their bigger plan
No,
to?
it is
Uh,
just to the extent of one tiny little component, which is the human right violation. They have never spoken against Article 370. They have never spoken against the abrogation of Article 35. They have never spoken against the implementation of the domicile law, and so on and so forth. So what I foresee is that they are not probably going to speak about that. They are going to speak about the human right, and we might as well notice some relief in the human right violation of that. But if you are thinking about any other big relief, I don't foresee that any big relief. You'll find it out during Joe Biden's time, and if at all we expect that, then in that case we have to really work very
so
hard.
one thing which is very obvious during the Trump administration, we have seen very peaceful Middle East compared to Obama, or of course Bush was horrible. And if you look at the scorecards of wars for all these presidents, which we'll play in the show as well, all the presidents since Reagan has started 4, 5, 8 wars and conflicts, small and big, from Yemen to going back to Obama. He continued Iraq War. He escalated Afghan War. He started 5 times more drone strikes, or 8 times more drone strikes than Bush. He started Yemen. He started Syria. He started Libya. He basically decimated Libya. So that's goes to the credit of Obama, which was after his Cairo speech was considered very peaceful. Trump maybe have a big mouth, but you can't find any war. Only you find de-escalations in war
That's
around the
right.
world. So
So with this discussion, that brings me to the point that yes, Trump was in that respect. He was trying to save money. He was trying to save the budget. He had told the nation. Trump had told the nation during his campaign before 2016 that he's not going to spend any money of the United States taxpayer in these activities. And he said that if at all it is to be done, it will be done through their own money, that Saudi Arabia. And then, if you remember, then he had suggested, and he had proposed, Trump had proposed, after once he had presided over the meeting of all the head of states of Islamic countries in 2016-17, and he had very clearly spelled out that no more NATO. It should be Islamic NATO, and that's why you had seen multinational military force was established at that time, although it did not take off that much. But then these were all his points. But the basic and fundamental idea behind it was to save the money of the taxpayers of the United States. You are right. But if you, with the same token of measure, if you compare it to what Obama had done, and now what Biden can do during his presidency. So obviously, establishment would try and have those.
so it means a lot of Obama era policies of war, bombing, covert operations,
But it would
black
not.
waters will come back to the Middle East and even Afghanistan and Pakistan region.
That is quite likely.
Biden
That's
in
quite
office.
possible. Yeah, that's quite possible.
Okay, so that's not a good news for the Middle East, and
Not too good for us either, but we have to really try our best to start doing a countermeasure and start outreaching our friends and those countries who matter, which we are not really very good at.
there is another fear that Kamala Harris will be effectively in charge of the presidency because Joe Biden is an old guy. He has a dementia, which has been hidden a lot of times. It's obvious in his speech that he loses coherence during the speech more than me a lot of times. So, the thing is, people say that he's not in the mentally 100% fit shape, and Kamala Harris will be the one pulling the strings.
No, age
Uh,
age is not on his side. He is the oldest president of the United States so far. But Kamala Harris is definitely going to be quite active, and particularly in terms of India, Pakistan, and the South Asian country matter. Kamala Harris is going to really be quite effective and would make an impact. And therefore, what I said earlier, that the matter is not going to be as smooth as we had before. So we have to really take measures accordingly. And we only hope that the things do not really
so
come at worst.
if we make a small prediction that a lot of wars, chaos is coming back to the Middle East with the Biden in office, and a lot of
Uh,
challenges for
I would say,
Pakistan with
I would
the
say
new
yes.
terrorist organization being created, like
Hmm.
Obama times by covert operation of U.S. government and its agencies.
Well, the budget which was curtailed for these purposes by Trump is going to be restored very soon. You will see to it. And once it's restored, obviously, all these activities would start in this region. And particularly in this region, because the China pressure and China's expansion, that would also be one of the causes for increasing the activities. And plus, Pakistan, obviously, they have other plans for Pakistan, and not always in favor of us, obviously against us. So therefore, they would use Pakistan as a ground for checking China, the region also for checking China, and also Pakistan, because Pakistan is the only now strong country left which can stand shoulder to shoulder to some of the very basic causes of the Islamic world. So therefore, we definitely have tough challenges, and therefore we should, as a nation, try and unite ourselves, try and generate our funds, try and make ourselves more strong, so that we are able to withstand and we continue to be more prudent.
So our prediction for the show is tough times, more wars, covert operation by U.S. agencies in Middle East and Afghanistan and Pakistan
In collaboration
are
with
coming
India.
in collaboration with India and probably Israel as well are coming to the lands, and more chaos unless until these governments and the people of the countries can fight back with unity. It can be a really sad story for a few countries, especially like Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, which are in dire strait already. Oh, so, any last words before we make a close to this our sad prediction?
No, it's not. We are close to the reality, and we should accept the reality, and that should give us the resolve to really unite ourselves instead of fighting, instead of both from both sides. You know what is happening around in the country, both opposition and the government. They should pull their socks. They should try and unite, not divide the nation.
Like they fought back against Bush and Obama administration, probably. Let's see who survives. So with that prediction, not so good one with the Biden in the office. Maybe Biden has a better face, but not for the Middle East. So we will put end to our show. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe our show, and put some comments for our future topics. Thank you.